This year, Harry Potter fans have popularized reality shifting in order to go to Hogwarts and have sex with Draco Malfoy.
So, as you guys know, when I shifted the first time, I stayed there for 3 whole years.
Everything's fabricated, everything's not real. I'm gonna go to Hogwarts and bone Draco Malfoy. Well, you guys are crazy, not for the reason you think. And then anytime someone calls these people out or expresses that they think the whole thing's BS, you have everyone just like dogpile on in the comments. This contains several CIA documents from videos on YouTube from 5 years ago. This means it's not just a trend. The CIA documents were from 1984. There's a lot more, but that's all for now. You got me there. If you're watching this and I've made wrong claims about shifting and I didn't do enough research, because I'm sure I didn't, send me the research. Maybe you can convert me, but I'll be serious about it. I try to take this thing seriously. Hi. Happy Monday. What I basically did the past 2 weeks was reply to anybody that said they had some sort of proof, sources, or studies on shifting, and I asked them to email me or reply to me with what those sources were so I could talk about them in today's video. The only source I really heard of up until that point was the CIA document, so I was really eager to dive into more. I had a good amount of people say that they were going to email me, and one person even said she had a lot of shifters that wanted to compile together some sources and email them to me. So the original plan was to go and do a deep dive through all those sources and talk about them. But even after what had to be like a dozen people telling me they were going to email me, none of them actually sent me anything. Oh wait, I actually did get one email this morning that says, see their featured stories and you'll find some stuff. And it's a link to an invite to this website called Amino. And funny enough, just 46 minutes ago, I got another comment on the original video saying, I don't know if you're actually serious. Amino has some posts explaining it in more detail. Just type in reality shifting groups or something and stuff will pop up. TikTok isn't really a good place for information, LOL. Okay, so if this place is more credible than TikTok, obviously we're gonna be able to find more. So I downloaded the app and I dove into it, and let's see what it's all about. So right off the bat, I have my account here. nickisnotgreen 56, I guess, is the account they gave me, so follow me. Then I'm gonna go to my communities. There's a lot going on here on this page, but I'm gonna click on Hogwarts shifting. Okay, so I'm a first year student, and the person who emailed me told me to go to their featured post, so I'm just gonna go there. Oh, here it is, shifting parallels in Harry Potter. Step 1, step 2. Okay, so this is just how to do it again. They have a section where they talk about how in Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince 6 years could sign up for an apparition class, which is kind of like Harry Potter's version of shifting, I guess. And then that's the end of the post, so very cool, very cool. Okay, also there's been CIA files confirming this babe. But yeah, we're gonna dive into the CIA documents. I unfortunately didn't get any other proof besides that. I even looked back on TikTok, asked multiple people in Discords and chat rooms. I did not get anything else. So the famous gateway process CIA document, the one piece to the puzzle that we were missing from the first video. On Wednesday night, I grabbed some friends on Discord and we dove headfirst into the 29-page document. I really don't want this to be boring, so I'm gonna try to make it brief and easy to understand, but let's just jump into it. This document was written by Sergeant Wayne M. McDonald. Basically, the reason it was written was because the Soviet Union decided to study something pretty similar to it, and the US didn't want to fall behind, so basically they just tasked this guy to write a document about it. The study has no control group and no previous requirement for any of the selection of participants. Sergeant McDonald is the sole writer, and the document is not written by the CIA. It's just by this army commander guy, and the CIA declassified it because it was owned by the military. They've declassified hundreds of thousands of documents, and this is just a normal process, and it doesn't deem any study more credible than the next. With that out of the way, let's move on to the contents of the paper itself. Okay, so what shifting is in relation to this document is called the Gateway Experience. It's basically a training system designed to bring enhanced focus to the frequency of brain waves between the left and right hemispheres of your brain to ultimately escape even the restrictions of time and space. And as outlined in the document, the way you do this is through the hemisync techniques. These were tapes that played sounds that synchronized both hemispheres of your brain. This is a technique that's actually been studied and shown to be effective, but only when using headphones to separate both sounds from each ear. This has worked as a partial replacement for fentanyl during surgery in hospitals, and it's been suggested for sleep induction and more. But there was a study that showed that hemisync was possible without the tapes. Subjects with 20 years of training in Zen meditation could consistently establish hemisync at will, sustaining it for over 15 minutes. So let's take that whole basis of what we just learned so far and apply it to shifting. According to the document, the gateway process is different from just normal meditation, specifically because of the use of the hemisync tapes. This is what we compare to that subliminal audio audio that they use in shifting. The one with like the 432 hertz or whatever that I listened to while I was sleeping. A lot of shifters don't even mention subliminals in their video, and I've never seen a shifting video where they say that the subliminal is required to shift. On top of that, I've never seen a video stressing that you need headphones for the subliminals to work. According to this document, the only way that you can shift without using subliminals is to have decades of practice in Zen meditation, which I think I can safely say 100% of Harry Potter TikTokers do not have. I get to bring out my science Nick outfit for this one. Okay, so now we're going to touch on the multiverse theory, the parallel universe theory, whatever you want to call it, that a lot of these shifters are claiming to be a basis behind shifting. And it's a key point in the gateway process study. I called on my friend and physics expert Nithya to help me out on this one, because I have no idea what I'm talking about. Basically, the basis behind this theory is that scientists discovered that particles like electrons can exist in two places at once. But it's not really as straightforward as that. Every particle is a particle and a particle wave. If we know the position of that quantum particle, then its speed is uncertain. But if we know the speed of a particle, then the position is uncertain. This is something called Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. It doesn't actually mean that the particle is in two places at once, it's just the way that we measure that particle. There's another part of the paper that talks about this thing called clicking out to enter a new world by dropping your frequency below this unmeasurable point, but it's also a misinterpretation of the uncertainty principle, and it doesn't actually join infinity, it's just too small to measure at the time. And that's your quick physics lesson from someone who does not know anything about it. Oh yeah, and the main physicist that they cite in the paper, Itzhak Bentov, wasn't really a physicist. He was a biomedical engineer who was interested in psychology and consciousness. His Wikipedia actually talks about how it wasn't even until after his death that his daughter learned about his life in the Israeli Defense Forces and that he created Israel's first rocket. Okay, now let's get to the hypnosis part of the paper, which basically states that self-induced hypnosis is used as a technique in the gateway process to allow your brain to do what it does in hemisync. I consulted my friend Claire, who studies psychology, on this, and she basically broke down what hypnosis does to the brain in this state. Hypnosis can create this phenomenon where false memories are planted in your brain, so underdeveloped brains can be especially affected by this. This could lead to people who shift, who use these meditation methods, to fully believe that they spent time in different fake worlds. There's this thing called source memory, which is also a big issue with age, where the farther you get away from an event, the more difficult it is to recall where or when you obtained that information from. So with that in mind, I want to play one of many responses that I got from my original TikTok video I posted about my YouTube video 2 weeks ago.
This quite literally has nothing to do with you. Why can't teenage girls do anything or like anything without people like you coming to bash on them? If they want to shift realities, they can shift realities. It has nothing to do with you. It doesn't hurt anybody, because no matter what they do, somehow or some way, people like you are going to find a way to make fun of them. Also, the fact that in his comments section, he liked a comment that was like, oh, why don't they just shift themselves a reality with a spouse and start a family? That is just so blatantly misogynistic. How do you even have an audience, sir? You don't even deserve the title, sir.
So this is not about gatekeeping kids having fun on the internet. It's not about someone trying to ruin a harmless trend that kids find fun. It's about going against encouraging minors that they can detach from this reality and go to another one. The worst thing you can do for people whose brains aren't even fully developed is tell them that they can go to other universes and hang out with their favorite characters. Once you have the main basis of what the gateway process is out of the way, and it's not even close to what reality shifting is on TikTok, there really isn't much else in the paper that you can touch on that will change what has already been said. Oh wait, we do have this advanced techniques part of the paper. Maybe this will tell us some extra ways we can shift that'll back up what people on TikTok are saying, and maybe it'll just change the trajectory of this whole analysis. Magic wands and enchanted scepters have been a part of the folklore and occult practices of many cultures. The energy bar tool involves envisaging a small, intensely pulsating dot of light which the participant charges in his imagination with enormous energy until it is virtually pulsating. The participant then extrudes the dot into the shape of a sparkling, vibrating cylinder of energy, which he then uses to channel force from the universe to selected parts of his body for purposes of healing and revitalization. So our one and only source for shifting proof also talks about how we can heal and revitalize our body with magic wands and scepters. Oh, but here's my favorite part of the paper. It talks about the different techniques you can use for leaving your body once you've shifted. The actual techniques employed for separating from the body involve such simple maneuvers as rolling out, lifting out after the fashion of a telephone pole, wherein the individual separates in a rigid head-first manner such that he finds himself standing at attention at the foot of his physical body. They're basically saying you'd be like laying in bed flat on your back, and then you just like spring up like a vampire onto your feet. So I hope this video wasn't too boring in comparison to the other videos I want to make this year, but there is a main reason why I made it. I believe that as much as there are people online pushing the idea of shifting onto impressionable teenagers and profiting off of them on TikTok and YouTube, we should be doing our best to encourage these kids not to believe these videos. Most of these kids who do this don't want to be in their current reality already. They hate where they live, they hate the life they're currently living, and their mental health is in an unhealthy state where they want to detach from reality. This is not just something I've noticed on TikTok, but it's something that shifting TikTokers actually use as a reason for why people shift, because they think it might be a good thing if someone doesn't want to be in their current reality to be able to detach and be happy. But as we all know by now, that is probably the last thing you want to do if your mental health is not in a great state. Now, this video and my channel are meant for all of us to have a great time, but there's so many people claiming that I'm attacking minors, making misogynistic claims, and trying to send hate to people who are interested in shifting. So I feel like it's important that I say that. Thank you for watching this video. Hopefully you got something out of it. Links are down below if you want to see everything else I do. And this week's Gamer of the Week is Barisi. If you want to be the next Gamer of the Week, comment down below and let me know what you thought of the video. Now, if you excuse me, I'm gonna go bully some kids again. My posture's lacking lately. On Wednesday I felt lazy. I beat myself up for it. Thursday my vision's hazy. I ran 2 miles Friday. Does that deserve a high praise? If I'm not happy with it, Saturday nights I'm timid.